Janae Sergio's jaw dropped when she first saw herself transformed into a 40s pinup. It had been a long journey for the former homeless teen who found her home in the U.S. Navy. I had left Hollywood as a homeless teenager, and I joined the military as a homeless teenager, the now 40-year-old told the Southern California native was Miss April 2020 for the annual Pinups for Vets calendar. The award-winning nonprofit, founded in 2006 by California resident Gina Elise, raises funding to support hospitalized and deployed troops. It famously produces World War II-inspired bombshell calendars for. Since its launch, Pinups for Vets has donated over $100,000 to help hospitals purchase new rehabilitation equipment and to provide financial assistance for veterans' healthcare program expansion across the country. During the pandemic, Pinups for Vets has been shipping out care packages enclosed with gifts of appreciation to hospitalized veterans. It continues to mail morale-boosting care packages to deployed U.S. troops around the globe. Here I was coming back as a model getting my hair done, my makeup done. It was almost an out-of-body experience, she continued. I remember working in a shoe store and somebody had stolen my backpack. When you're a homeless person, that's all you have. I remember feeling so helpless. Like I was nobody. Here I was, walking on those same streets now as an accomplished woman, here for this photo shoot. When I saw my photos for the first time, I thought, who is she? Sergio chuckled. She's so pretty. I was so grateful for the opportunity because the foundation provides a helping hand to those in need. But what Gina does for every woman in that calendar is inexplicable. You feel empowered to tell your story. I'm forever grateful for her. This is one of the most empowering veteran organizations I have ever worked with, Sergio continued. It raises awareness on our vets. We all volunteer to be on the calendar. It also brings together an incredible group of inspiring female veterans who are hard-working and accomplished. I've met so many incredible people through the organization. Today, Sergio is telling her story. Recently she wrote a memoir titled Perfectly Flawed, A Veteran's Journey from Homeless to Hero, which details how she went from being a 16-year-old on the streets to joining the Navy and making her mark as a successful businesswoman. I thought the life I was living was normal. She reflected on her childhood. It was around the age of 13 to 14 when we started going to church. I started to get to know other people who had loving families and normal households. That's when I started to speak up against the abuse I was enduring. But it only got worse. It came to a point where my mom sent me to live with her sister, who was a veteran. My aunt wanted to keep me away from that environment, but eventually, my mom showed up with the police. My aunt begged him to please. That's when my aunt went inside and told me to run, said Sergio. Growing up, Sergio never met her father. Her mother was a single parent by age 17. Sergio, who said she came from two very long lines of family dysfunction, described enduring alleged physical and verbal abuse from her mom and her various male companions. I just remember being 14, running down a hill barefooted, running from the police, running from my mom, afraid of the consequences, Sergio explained. It was very late at night. It was pitch black outside. I found a shopping center and hid behind one of those large potted plants. I stayed there shivering. I think the police understood the situation. But I was returned. Pinups for Vets puts a spotlight on female veterans posing as bombshells to raise money for American heroes. Sergio said that by the time she turned 16, she was sexually assaulted. She alleged that mother did not want to deal with the situation. Consequently, she was dropped off at a homeless shelter in Hollywood, a 2.5-hour drive away from home. Sergio alleged that after dropping her off, the matriarch had the charges against the person who assaulted her dropped. I wanted to escape the abuse, said Sergio. I wanted to escape to a safe place. I wanted to be in a loving home. On one hand, I believed this saved my life because the abuse was getting to be more aggressive. She was becoming more enraged in her beatings. In some instances, I genuinely thought I was going to die if she didn't stop. So I was relieved to be out of that situation. But the experience I had homeless men chase me down the street, she continued. There were multiple attempts to lure me into sex trafficking. There were moments when I wished my mom would come back and get me because I loved her and I wanted her to love me. I hadn't accepted the fact that she didn't want me. There were several instances where I reached out to her and tried to get her to come get me. As a kid, Sergio said she went into survival mode. She befriended those who were on their own for far longer than she was, and they took her under their wing. She reached out to programs for at-risk youth in Los Angeles where she sought guidance and met with counselors eager to help.